Today, more MuscleTrux wars. It's a chassis dyno shootout to see what kind of power our sport trucks are making. Then we'll check out what's hot and what's cool at the Nashville Goodguys show. And finally, it's sanding and buffing tech that'll give your truck a mirror finish. It's all today here on Trucks.
Hey, welcome to Trucks, and welcome back to our Battle of the MuscleTrux, where we're putting these two factory sport trucks up against each other. And we think we got these trucks looking better than they did when they were brand new with a lowered, much more aggressive stance. And although my 94 Lightning here still retains its basic stock outward appearance, Ryan's 454 SS, well, it's sporting some classic eye candy with American racing wheels and a Goodmark cowl induction hood.
And today, we're finally going to get to see what kind of power these trucks are making at the rear wheels, and if the mods we made are going to meet our power goals. And in case you're new to this MuscleTrux thing, well, we're going to find out if brute big block power wins the day over a turbocharged small block.
But these build-ups, well, they're not just about horsepower, because regardless of what we put down to the ground today, later on this season, we've got a real-world test to put these trucks up against each other on the road.
Well, today's show is all about tuning and squeezing every last ounce of performance you can out of your truck. Now, if you're like a lot of hot rodders and you've been dragged into this modern age of computers kicking and screaming, well, custom tuning with a laptop sounds a little intimidating to say the least. But the truth is, a lot of computer-controlled vehicles on the road today are fairly easy to tap into to improve performance and efficiency. So we're going to follow Kevin's Lightning over to the horsepower dyno and find out just how easy it is. And more importantly, see what a great tool a computer can be while tuning any vehicle. Now, before we even spin the drums on our Dynojet, well, we've got to make a few adjustments and changes. Now, the first change we're going to make is swapping our stock replacement plugs for ones that are 1 heat range colder. We're also going to close the gap down to about 32 to 35 thousandths, and that'll keep the spark from getting blown out by the turbo boost.
Along with the spark plug change, we also set the truck's base timing to 10 degrees.
You ready to make a pull?
It's showing a little lean, but go ahead and give it a pull.
The Lightning was seriously lean, and that can cause detonation and put holes in pistons, so we shut it down. Too lean?
Nah, it's way lean. There's something up. Well, we got a bit of a lean condition. Well, no worries, because we planned all along to have some guys here today to help us dial in the tune on this truck. So Rick Spur and Joe Beagle from DynoSpeed Racing in Memphis, Tennessee have come out here to help us dyno tune our Lightning using the latest SCT software. Now, Joe, Rick, you guys have been down this road before. We got a lean condition. What's up with that?
Well, basically, this 94 Lightning's been converted over to Mass Air.
Yeah.
And the Mass Air computer is set up for a stock vehicle. It's not set up to see boost. And you've added a turbo to the truck's going to run lean. It needs more fuel to the tune.
Let me see that thing. Now, I know we're all used to the tuners, the handheld tuners, on all the late model stuff where you can get in and access information and make adjustments. How are you going to do that on an old style computer like this?
Well, basically, we're going to take an SCT 4-bank eliminator chip, and using the SCT Advantage 3 software, we're going to actually take the tune file here. With the modifications that have been done to the truck, we're going to burn it into the chip via this SCT chip burner.
In order to get to the computer's circuit board, Rick opens the case, unscrews the board, and cleans the contact points thoroughly, just to make sure there's good signal. Next, the case gets modified a little to be able to accept the SCT chip.
Using the SCT software, Joe puts a basic tune into the chip based on the equipment we've installed onto the truck that should get us in the ballpark and the air-fuel ratio balanced out. That tune gets burned or programmed into the chip and then installed onto the circuit board where it gets interpreted by the computer, which in turn tells the truck's hardware how to respond.
Now, just for this tuning session, we're going to leave our computer right here for easy access. Now, it's looking a little lean still, isn't it?
Yeah, we definitely need to reprogram the chip and add some fuel.
Cool.
The laptop showed us that we were still lean as the revs went up. DynoSpeed Racing has years of experience and a great reputation for tuning safe and impressive power. Joe reset the fuel tables and burned another tune into the chip.
Okay, 309.7 at standard correction. Power's up. How'd the run look?
The run looks really good from the time that we started it to about 5,100 RPMs, and then the truck starts leaning out again. So we need to add a little bit more fuel to it.
Go for it. The readout tells us exactly what's going on in the engine. At wide open throttle, detonation would be impossible to hear with this truck's exhaust, but with the computer you can actually see a lean condition. Joe adds more fuel up top, and we hit it again. Looks like power's about the same, but we're still leaning out at just past 5,000 RPM. What's going on?
It looks like the truck's not taking the fuel changes that I'm trying to command.
And the way the fuel pressure dropped at the top of the run, looks like we may have reached the limits of the in-tank fuel pump.
So you think we just need to upgrade the in-tank pump to like a higher flow unit that'd take care of it?
Absolutely. Upgrading this truck with an in-tank 255 liters per hour will give this truck more fuel than it needs. When the truck has the fuel that it needs, you'll be able to increase the timing. When you increase the timing, the truck's going to pick up horsepower and torque.
Cool. So with the pump upgrade, we're safe all the way through the RPM band and we can make more power?
That is correct.
Sounds like a plan to me. Thanks, guys. We appreciate your help today.
Yeah, Joe, Rick, thanks guys. Hope you guys didn't make this thing too fast.
Don't worry about him.
Up next, Ryan's 454 SS hits the rollers. And later, we'll truck on over to the Good Guys show. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to Trucks. We're checking the power numbers at the wheels on our 94 Lightning that's sporting a stock engine and STS tailpipe turbo. And even though we found the limits of the stock fuel pump at 5,000 RPM, we made an impressive 310 horsepower at the wheels.
Over the break, we dropped in a new 255 liter per hour fuel pump from Holley that's especially made for forced induction. And we left the BBK inline pump in place just to make sure we had enough delivery. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, man.
Hey, you look pretty happy. What are the numbers?
Tell you what, I'll write them on the tailgate and you can read them at the track. How's that?
Oh yeah? I don't get it. Maybe you ought to write them on the grill instead. Now that red thing made some decent power, but I've got high hopes for this big block with Edelbrock top end components. What do we get?
298.5 and 336 foot-pounds. That ain't bad.
Not for the first run. What the air-fuel ratio curve look like?
You're
Can you pull
leaning
that
out up top. Could use a little fattening up around 45, 4,700.
Cool. Make some changes.
Cool.
So what we're gonna do is add a little bit of fuel across the RPM range at the wide open throttle setting. And you saw us install their Pro-Flo fuel injection system. But since then, Edelbrock has just released the new Pro-Flo 2 EFI, which gives you even more options that still let you tune for power or economy without a laptop. What we get?
Well, you broke 300 horse, 337 foot-pounds. Air fuel looks really good. It's still kind of shaky right here, right under 5 grand.
Oh yeah? We'll do a little more tweaking. Now we're still a little lean on the top end, so what we're gonna do is add some more fuel at 5,000 RPM. Now what's the news?
Man, you're real consistent. Power's up a little bit, torque's down a little bit, but the air fuel is perfect all the way through. But it's kind of shaky around 5 grand again.
It sounded like it started missing close to 5,000 RPM, like
Yeah.
the spark was dropping out.
Well, let's see if Horsepower's got an MSD box we can throw on there.
Cool, worth a shot. We suspected that spark was falling off at high RPM. So we installed an MSD 6A to make sure we had good combustion past 4,500 RPM. Now while Tommy was under the hood hooking up the MSD box, we noticed one of the plug wire boots was laying on the exhaust. It burned right through the insulation. This thing was arcing out. So we're gonna throw in a new plug wire, see what this thing will do, firing on all 8. All right, well, that sounded better. What is it?
318, 351 foot-pounds, and your air fuel is perfect all the way up.
Sweet, 350 solid on the torque and 318 on horsepower?
Yeah, that's got to be getting close to 400 horse at the crank.
Yeah, with parasitic loss, that's right at 400.
That's smoking, man.
Yeah, that's a solid 125 over a stock baseline.
Yep.
It's not too bad.
When we come back, checking out good trucks all built by good guys. Stick around.
Hey, welcome back. Well, guess where we are? That's right, Good Guys Rod and Custom Nashville Nationals. And I don't even know where Ryan and Tommy are, but I'm gonna check out some of these cool vehicles. Good Guys has been around for more than 20 years, and with vehicles included up to 1972, there's plenty of variety and plenty of trucks. Yeah, no parking. Right. Check it out. Paul Breeze drug this 1940 Chevrolet fire truck out of a junkyard, pro-streeted it, extended the cab, and check it out. Appropriately enough, he gave it a flame job. This is trick. Now these stains right here, this is not some special custom paint treatment. You gotta check out what made these marks. Hit it. That's right, it's a Hemi. This early Ford is sporting all kinds of killer details, like chrome straight axle front end, barely muffled headers, classic big and littles with American Racing Torq-Thrust wheels, and let me tell you, this truck had everybody's attention. Just like on Project Body Bag, we got suicide doors on a classic this time, though. That's cool. I finally found Tommy and Ryan at the Advanced Plating Facility, where we got a chance to meet some of you good guys and hand out a little swag, too. You're welcome. Hey, check out Super Soft's Trick 70 Chevelle, but I guess he parked it on the wrong side of town and somebody needed some left side sheet metal. Over in the manufacturer's midway, we saw Bowler Performance's latest work. Street Rods by Michael was there, and Roush Performance had a presence as well. But by far, one of the coolest trucks we saw was this 1940 Ford. This is a true rat rod with emphasis on the rat. I think he took a cue from our own Tommy Bosch's on the grill, but this isn't all old truck. This is a functional engine. It looks like a Hemi, but it's not a Hemi. It's actually a small block Chevy hiding under faux valve covers, and yes, the air conditioning works. Now we're seeing a lot of custom classic trucks here, but this one is brand new, bumper to bumper, with a warranty. There's no mistaking what vehicle Southern Motor Company modeled this truck after, but with tons of luxury features, more room in the cab, several modern drivetrain options, and yes, you heard me right, a bumper-to-bumper 336 warranty. This is a much easier way to own a reliable classic with style. All in all, it's plain to see Good Guys puts on a killer car and truck show.
Give me a bag. All right.
After the break, we'll show you how doing this and this can lead to this. Don't go away.
Hey, welcome back. Well, with the muscle dialed into the MuscleTrux, well, we can switch gears a little bit. Let's talk about the paint. Now, this SS has had a recent paint job, and it looks good, but it's showing a little bit of texture, a little bit of orange peel. Nothing wrong with that. It's still nice and glossy, but you've got an opportunity here to really enhance the quality of the reflection and the gloss of the paint job by color sanding and buffing. Now, keep in mind, if you've got factory paint, you got to be a little more careful because you can sand and buff through the paint easier. Ours is an aftermarket paint job, so we're in pretty good shape because they're most of the time thicker. So we're going to show you how to color sand and buff your paint job and level out that texture to create a pure reflection with an incredible gloss. We're going to start out with 1500 grit sandpaper on a 6-inch DA sander. Now, just to drive the point home, I'm going to tape off half of this panel so we can really show you what a difference this makes. Keeping the DA flat is important and applying light, gentle pressure. All right, check it out. You can really see where the texture and the orange peel is. Right here, this is almost level and dead flat. We got to keep going until we don't see any more of these dark spots. Now with everything leveled out with the 1500 dry, we're gonna switch to 3000 grit wet, and this time use a little bit of water with it to lubricate it so we don't load the pad up. You'll notice that I'm staying away from the edges and the corners. There's never as much paint buildup there, and you can easily sand through. Now the 3000 grit hardly takes any material off, but it really puts a fine scratch in the surface that gets us ready for the magic to happen, buffing. Now you've got a lot of choices when it comes to a compound system to buff the gloss back into your paint job, but a newcomer in this area is Mothers with their new professional compound system. Now I had the chance to use this on Project HRT already, and let me tell you what, it rocks. The gloss came up quick, and you've seen the quality of that paint job. So we're gonna start out with a clean wool pad and their heavy-duty compound, since this is a cured finish. Using about a quarter-sized blob of compound and lubricating the surface with a little mist of water, start compounding at a slow speed with the pad flat to the surface. You can see right away the quality of the reflection coming back at you. A couple more steps of this, we're golden. Once your sanding scratches are completely gone and you've cleaned the surface with a microfiber towel, you can switch to the next step, which is a less aggressive black foam pad. This time we're using the Mothers foam pad polish. This second step won't take nearly as long as a compound. After cleaning the residue, the third step is a fine white pad with Mothers machine glaze. Always keep a water mister on hand and spritz your panel once in a while. Dry buffing can cause scratches and swirls, and they really show up on black. The last step is a hand glaze on a microfiber towel. Now check out what an unbelievable difference color sanding and buffing can make to a panel. This bedside looks like a mirror now. And the best thing about this whole process is that this is something that's not that difficult. You guys can do this at home, and it's even easier with a high quality product like Mothers on your side. And it looks like I got a little bit more rubbing to do. Thanks for watching Trucks. See you guys next week.